Should.
We are live, sir.
Great. A very good evening to all of you once again. I, Vikram Singh Tomar, the Director of Admissions at OP Jindal Global University, representing the Jindal Global Business School, welcome all my esteemed guests today, Professor Pawan Gando, Professor Chakravarti, our Dean of Admissions, Professor Arya, and very soon we will be joined by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. C. Rajkumar. On behalf of my fellow colleagues and the university, I welcome you all for today's session, which is aimed at throwing more insights about the newly launched programs for the academic year 2021. Just to give you an insight about why we are here for, Jindal Global Business School, typically known as JGBS, we have launched three new BBA Honors Specializations in 2021. We have introduced BBA Honors in Business Analytics. We have introduced BBA Honors in Family Business and BBA Honors in Financial Markets. Looking at the need of the hour, the industry response, we firmly believe that going forward, it's an age of specializations where a student must determine their graduation degree in a very serious manner. If you have clear cut information about different courses which are available to you, you would be able to take a firm decision where you want to see yourself professionally down the years. So I, along with my entire team, are here to throw more insights about the vision and mission of Jindal Global Business School, our courses, in what way the courses have been conceptualized, the study abroad pathway programs which we aim to bring during the course of your study at GGBS, followed by a small question and answers round. So I think already have our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. C. Rajkumar, who has joined us. And I would now, as a formal address, I would request our Vice Chancellor to welcome you all. We already have list of participants coming higher and higher. We already have 31 students and parents who have joined us. So formally welcoming you all once. And can I request Dr. Raj to please present before the panel, before the people?
All right. A very good evening to all of you. Such a pleasure to see all of you. I would like to recognize the presence of the Dean of our Business School, Professor Dr. Rajesh Chakrabarti, faculty member, Professor Pavan Kandok, as well as Dean of our Admissions Office, Professor Arya Majumdar. Thank you, Vikram, for this introduction. We're very delighted to have this open house for a number of reasons. I think most importantly, we would like to formally introduce the university to all of you. OP Jindal Global University was established as a multidisciplinary university in the year 2009. And in 2010, we started the Jindal Global Business School. Over the last 11 years, the university has grown into a multidisciplinary university with strong focus on various taught programs, undergraduate, postgraduate, and master's, and of course, PhD programs. We have a very vibrant faculty members who are contributing to research. There are a number of milestones that the university has itself reached in the last several years. And these milestones include our recognition under the National Accreditation Assessment Council as the highest graded NAC accredited institution under the government of India. We broke into the QS BRICS rankings as one of the top 300 universities a few years ago. We broke into the QS Asia rankings as one of the top 400 universities in the world. We broke into the QS World University rankings a couple of years ago, one of the top 800 in the world. And last year, we made it better and became one of the top 700 universities in the world, and also became India's #1 private university. Our law school is recognized as India's #1 law school and one of the top 150 law schools in the world in QS World Universe Rankings. Our business school itself has reached number of milestones and has a number of achievements to its credit, and I will have the dean of our business school articulate more about the vision of the business school itself. As a crowning glory of our evolution in the last 11 years, last year, we were recognized by the Government of India as an institution of eminence. As some of you know, nearly 3 years ago, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, had a vision to essentially identify top 10 public and top 10 private universities and recognize them as institutions of eminence, which will help them and propel them to become world-class universities in the years to come. Out of the 1,000 Indian universities, nearly 125 plus were identified in the first stage of the process in which they applied. And after an elaborate process, which lasted for over 18 months, 10 public universities, including some of the leading IITs, and 10 private universities were identified and given the status of an institution of eminence. The Jindal Global Business School also formed a part of that, the 10 schools of JGU, to be recognized as an institution of eminence. I want to quickly say that the vision of Jindal Global Business School is aligned with the vision of the Jindal Global University. There are 5 aspects of the university and its own mission, which is in complete alignment with the Jindal Global Business School. First, we are a multidisciplinary university. In that sense, it's a multidisciplinary business school. The opportunity for our students in the business school across all the undergraduate and the postgraduate programs is to be able to cross-register courses across different schools of the university. Just imagine you are studying in a single discipline business school as opposed to a multidisciplinary university. The opportunity for a business school student is restrained and restricted and rather limited when it comes to taking courses across different schools. Being part of Jindal Global University means that as a student of JGU, you can take courses in the law school, in the School of International Affairs, in the School of Government and Public Policy, in the School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, in the School of Journalism and Communication, in the School of Art and Architecture, in the School of Banking and Finance, in the School of Environment and Sustainability, and in the School of Psychology and Counseling, which is the 10th school that we established. So the possibility for a student who is pursuing a business degree at Jindal Global Business School is simply phenomenal and quite unparalleled in the annals of the typical business school experience. That's the multidisciplinarity aspect of it. The second aspect of Jindal Global Business School is that it is international in its outlook and its orientation. The Jindal Global University and Jindal Global Business School has established partnerships and collaborations with business schools around the world, in the United States, in Canada, in United Kingdom, in Europe, in Australia, in Singapore, in many parts of the world, and more detailed information about it will be shared by other colleagues who will speak after me. That's the second aspect when it's international, in its orientation. We take this internationalization of the Jindal Global Business School very seriously. Our students have opportunity to pursue dual degree programs, short-term study abroad programs, student exchange program, immersion programs, and that's part of our vision. And one of the flagship collaborations that we established is with the Wharton School, probably the world's #1 business school, in which the students of Jindal Global Business School have an opportunity to pursue more than a month-long course leading to a credit-bearing certificate from the Wharton School in United States. There are many other collaborations which my colleagues will talk to you about. That's the second aspect of the Jindal Global Business School and JGU in alignment. The third aspect of our Jindal Global Business School is our strong commitment to what we call experiential learning. There are many more opportunities that the students of our business school have who end up doing things beyond the university. And that's something which we take a lot of pride in when it comes to the opportunities that the business school offers. The fourth that the Jindal Global Business School does is to create an institutional framework with a view to advancing the cause of internships as well as placements for our students. There is a very active Office of Career Services within the university, and there are several faculty members and staff of the Jindal Global Business School who actively work with the Career Services Office with a view to advancing the goals and aspirations of the students of Jindal Global Business School. And the fifth aspect of the Jindal Global Business School is something that we take a lot of pride in, which is to provide opportunities for learning of foreign languages. We have an active foreign language learning system on campus. Our students end up studying Mandarin Chinese and French and Spanish and even Arabic and other languages. And this is something which several of the business schools programs actually have made it compulsory for students to take. And this also empowers the students of Jindal Global Business School to pursue various career opportunities in the future. So in some ways, what I want to say is that as a student who's aspiring to be part of Jindal Global Business School, you have a fantastic line of opportunities. There are several established programs that JGBS offers, including its BBA program and the integrated BBA MBA program. But also it has offered this year three important flagship programs: the BBA in Business Analytics, the BBA in Family Business, and BBA in Financial Markets, all of which have fantastic pathways in different career options depending upon your interests that you might have. It's also important to mention that besides these programs, we also have an MBA program and also a PhD program. Lastly, I want to say that the Jindal Global Business School is an active intellectual community with nearly 100 full-time faculty members across different walks of life, have had studied in some of the most leading institutions in India and around the world, who have brought with them a wealth of experience from academia, business, industry, entrepreneurship, and other areas. The Jindal Global Business School has also helped develop an active entrepreneurial culture. They have started the startup initiative within the JGBS so that the students of JGBS are able to get opportunities to create businesses for the future, actively involved in the early stages of creation of companies and corporations as they move forward in their own careers. So the last thing I want to say is that OP Jindal Global University and Jindal Global Business School is part of a state-of-the-art campus environment, and that's something which we are very proud of. And of course, all of you right now, we are all situated in Corona, but I want to take a moment to quickly show you the campus, because this makes the university very special. It's a 100-acre fully residential campus environment, which you can see. What you see is a cricket field, but also there are other sports and other facilities that we have on campus. And the idea is that as you study and live and be part of a residential campus, there are many more things that you learn that actually transcends beyond what happens in a classroom ecosystem. And that's what a fully residential university, OP Jindal Global University, does. Your friends may be from other schools and other programs. They come from probably 28 different states and 20 plus countries in the world. The opportunity to interact, engage is simply phenomenal. And the early stages of molding of one's character, personality, and also one's growth and evolution beyond the professional knowledge, skills, and perspectives that you gain through being part of the university and the Jindal Global Business School is something that very few universities and institutions in India or anywhere in the world could provide. So with those words, I want to once again greet you and to say that we're very excited about the opportunities that we have created for the study of young people to pursue different career trajectories, different study opportunities within the Jindal Global Business School. It's a truly world-class institution that has the potential to provide a truly inspiring education for young people who are intending to pursue a range of opportunities in the future. With those words, once again, I would like to thank Vikram Tomar and the Office of Admissions and Outreach, the Dean of Admissions, Professor Arya Majumdar, the Dean of the Business School, Professor Rajesh Chakrabarti, and Professor Pawan Kandok for this opportunity for me to share some of my thoughts and reflections about JGBS and JGU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your valuable time. It's always been a pleasure to have you as a person to guide us, lead us from the front. And going forward, can I request our Dean of Business School, Professor Rajesh Chakrabarti, to take on from here where Dr. Rajkumar has left and throw more insights about our school. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vikram, for the great introduction. Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to talk to you. So, just add to that wonderful background that Chancellor has just provided, let me focus a little bit on the three new programs themselves and try to answer the question why the new BBA program. Uh, mentioned he has multiple established programs doing very well, having an eye on those programs. Our program, our general BBA program, was in the year 2000 and has already graduated two cohorts of alum and very well progressed. Many of them have gone into other educational programs, postgraduate programs. Some are experimenting ups, some some have taken up job opportunities. So it's a very interesting and very enriching experience that they have moved into. So we are very excited about the program, of course. Now, why have three more BBA programs when our first BBA is doing so? So to answer that, let me tell you where we strength of our general BBA program lies, and I think BBA program job of providing an undergraduate wide base students interested of business in general to pick up the basics of management skills sector and build a strong foundation in various areas of business. As all of you, I'm sure, are aware, business is not a single dimensional, single discipline area. It's a mix of coming together. It's a very applied field. It's a very, it's somewhere meets with practice all the time. And this experiential learning, which the Vice Chancellor talked about, and having experts come and rooms on a regular basis, all of these things, internships massively, all as practical of an experiential learning part of our curricula. So, seen the BBA program here, we looked around and sort of there, changes have occurred in very recent past that offering a few more options to students and a few more options in the business. The first is becoming more around the globe, the option of big data. Just data was not were out or acquainted with, and today big data is everywhere. Today you cannot do marketing without knowing what your customer is doing with your product, not in a year, not in a quarter, but every other day. Financial markets are all with information. Today, your strategy is evolving real time as new information streams in continuously. So big data is massive, and big data is opening up new careers, changing the future of work with artificial intelligence coming in on together with big data, and the study of field relevant and on top of the technological change that is pushing this requires a bit of focused attention. So while our general BBA is for people who want to focus on big data and other fields in business, which are going to be defining fields for the years to come, we strongly believe that. In that space, there is need for focus, specialized, and some attention to go deeper into that space without setting the foundation of business that every BBA degree deserves and needs to give. That is the rationale for our BBA business analytics program. The second program is about business, BBA family business. Now, BBA family business, and we have noted long time. We have had students come from backgrounds. We have had sit in Sony in the middle of a very long and very rich industry spanning straight from Ludhiana in Punjab right to the Delhi NCR, passing through the SMEs belts of Haryana and Punjab. What is that there are certain issues about family unique to the family business environment, and family business is something that is unique to a. In fact, step outside the world, our UK, 90% of most business, large, there's a very strong elements of family business everywhere. So to understand the issue of family business, while mastering foundations of BBA program as in any other BBA program, again requires attention to that. And this new focuses on family business, specially directed perhaps towards the second generation coming from business families, which whether directly or whether after a few years of experience in other places, are likely to return to their family businesses and take that family to the program that is focused on entrepreneurship, how to bring innovation in a business and make that business better aligned with technology, business practices, strategic realities of the times. So that's why we crafted a program on BBA family business versus those. The third one is financial. I obvious should people that the financial markets area requires a little depth specialized and learning about some somewhat complex world of trading, the world of various financial services, banking, regulation, the evolving over time, the space of finance, how it goes into bust again. It's a field that requires a more slightly strong building that possible in a BBA program. So with that in mind, we after the BBA financial markets program, which focuses giving edge to financial learning or learning about financial markets and institutions and policy to students who then become ready for the market in the sense the market. And many of the undergrads do not necessarily go to jobs right on graduation. But our goal always is to prepare students who on graduation would be ready for the market. And the BBA Financial Market is a program crafted to getting industry-ready professionals ready for financial industry at home and abroad, whether it's Dalal Street or Wall Street. Our students would be ready to take changes of that of the BFSI sector immediately. So those are the imaginations that drive the programs: BBA Business Analytics, BBA Business, and BBA Financial Markets. Of course, our general BBA continues there strongly. We and continues to add who want to have a wider background of in business and introduction, keeping all of their options open down the road. That is a and strong and is always there. But we thought that these three specializations will probably pull the aspirations and of people who want to without losing out on the breadth that a BBA provides. So that was what I wanted to share with you to take on questions later. Back to you.
Vikram,
Vikram,
you take it forward, or?
I think it's a connection thing.
Arya, yeah.
Right. So I believe Mr. Vikram Tomar is back. Vikram, can you hear us?
Yes, I am back. I think there was some temporary issue with the connectivity.
Yes. Could you bring on board Professor Tejpavan Gandio, please?
Yes, Professor Pavan, I would request you if you can throw more insights about what all initiatives you are trying to take the business analytics program along with the other specializations in terms of study abroad opportunities as a vision and mission of our global meaning, which lies in between the university name and the school name. Over to you, Professor Pavan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikram. It's such a pleasure to be here and fantastic to be in this event. So just building further on the points that Vice Chancellor and Dean made, and to your point, uh, there's always been a very, very strong emphasis on providing our students at JGBS and JGU a very strong international perspective amongst the variety of mechanisms that Vice Chancellor talked about. And so we're very, very delighted that in addition, building further on the fantastic opportunity that our students have to go to the Wharton School and experience a 4-credit immersive experience there. We've also been able to add to that similar opportunities for immersive credits at leading international universities, which gel in very well with these planned new BBA specializations. And so the students in these planned BBA specializations will also be able to benefit from attending immersion program at UCLA, the University of California, Los Angeles, which will have an emphasis on big data analytics and digital marketing related issues. And particularly given the environment in which LA as Silicon Beach, in the heart of tech in California, but also the heart of Hollywood and entertainment and sports industries, a lot of these issues will get covered in the context of those very dynamic and very, very interesting industries. Similarly, in addition, we've also got a very interesting immersion program also at Singapore Management University, which students will be able to participate in. And of course, with Singapore Management University, we've also got very pleased to share articulation pathway opportunity, which will also the students of these 3 BBA variants will also be able to take advantage in a sort of a dual degree articulation pathway to Singapore. Along that front, whilst we also always had a very strong suite of articulation pathway opportunities, as Vice Chancellor mentioned, to Canada and other places, but in addition to that, we'll also have a tremendous opportunity for the BBA analytics students to do a 2+2 year articulation pathway to Australia. And of course, that 2+2 will also, the 2 years in Australia would provide them work visa pathways types of opportunities. And in addition to these immersion and articulation pathway opportunities, of course, there's a very, very strong and continuing to build on strength semester exchange opportunities for study abroad. And a 4th opportunity, which I'm very pleased to share and very proud to share, that JGBS has led the way and paved the way for all of JGU, which we've in fact done the first of as a very innovative program this winter semester, this mid-semester break, is a very interesting innovation where students from JGBS and other parts of JGU are having an opportunity in these Corona times to have an online multi-sector international collaboration where they're studying on real-life projects with students from Australia and Indonesia, and are being facilitated by an entrepreneurial collective in dealing with social entrepreneurial issues in real-life context. And that type of, real-world immersion and interaction and perspective sharing with their fellow students from other countries, even within these COVID times, is a tremendous tremendous innovation and opportunity, and we will certainly be looking to build on that further, and expand and scale that based on this pilot. Our partners at Monash are very excited. Monash University very excited that we scale that up, and we will be looking from this initial pilot of 30 students to take that to at least over 100 students. I'm sure when our dear Vice Chancellor hears that, he'll want, of course, a magnitude multiple more of that. So that in many ways, what I articulated earlier was the physical opportunities for international experiences. But this sort of online collaboration with international students on real life projects is a virtual opportunity which has been born out of these, coronavirus restrictions, but I think is an innovation that has a lot of merit and will look to continue even despite, when the corona restrictions go away, and I think can be a tremendous complement to the physical opportunities that I've outlined as well. So in that sense, there are these four types of interaction opportunities, in both the U.S., Singapore, Australia, and Canada. So I hope that gives our attendees some flavor, and happy to take on more in the Q&A. Back to you.
Thank you, Professor Pawan. It's indeed an enlightening update about the Deacon pathway, which you are already working on. And I am pretty sure our students who are aspiring to make a career in the field of analytics, proposing to join us for the BBA Business Analytics program, would surely understand that we are leaving no stone unturned. I think Professor Raj has a meeting. He informed me before. Professor Raj, thanks for your timing. I think this was enough for today also. And we will continue over here. And thank you, sir. You may please go ahead with your meeting. So, friends, teachers, let me tell you one thing very clearly. We all four academicians, the dean of admissions, we have only one goal. And that goal is very simple: to give you the best of education and opportunities in the years to come. JGBS, Jindal Global University, had been known to provide a quality education. None of us, including the dean of admissions, Professor Arya, who has been into the corporate sector for years, chose to enter into the field of academics. Professor Gandok, with his area and expertise in the field of education. The Dean of Business School, who himself, if you go and see his background of education, and you would be surprised. And I was actually very surprised when I saw my dean taking the classes of BBA first year students. I never saw it, I'll be very honest. I never saw a dean giving lectures to the first year BBA students. And I really feel, had I been given this opportunity, because the knowledge which comes from people like them at an undergraduate level is very important. So we are all here looking at the industry requirements. We started the BBA Honors program specializing into marketing, finance, HR, entrepreneurship in 2016. And then when our two batches graduated, we have been in touch with the industry where our students were going for internship, and they asked us, why don't you think of launching something in specifically for the commerce student, which can provide them some kind of a job opportunity even after BBA? That was a very thoughtful decision. We had to frame a lot many courses. It is not a random dream which comes to any one of us and we launch a course. A lot of hard work in terms of what is being taught to you. how it is being taught, by whom it will be taught, because these are things which would require a lot of industry amalgamation. So these are the three new things which we have decided to offer on the academic year 2021. And as I already have my colleague, Professor Arya, who is the Dean of Admissions, I would definitely ask him also to say a few words. What does he feel and what is he's a lawyer, by the way, by profession. And Professor Arya would definitely agree that what Dr. Rajesh said, what our VC said about multidisciplinary education, how he feels about these three courses.
All right. Thank you very much for that introduction, Vikram. Again, once again, wonderful to be here. I'd like to take off from where you left off in terms of our choice of specializations. And having worked in the financial industry for many years, I used to be a corporate lawyer. It's very interesting as to the choice of specializations. Let's break these specializations down. We've got family business, analytics, and financial markets. Now, in an economy like India, you would say that any business is a family business, starting from the largest Reliance and the Tatas, etc., down to the small mom and pop Kirana store, that too is a family business. And therefore, as a unit of entrepreneurship, the family plays a huge role. That's one. Second, as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, the Indian financial markets are a source of, immense, not only wealth, but interest, but also a source of funding for the entire economy. That's the second. And third, in terms of analytics, we live in the day and age of data, right? And everything that we do is data driven. Now, whether it's what we say or what we do on social media, what kind of Google searches are we doing on a daily basis, all of these are little data points that go into decision making by businesses worldwide. So it's very, very interesting that these three specializations are preparing our students to get into these careers, which are going to be, or are already, and I expect going to be very, very high growth, and therefore will have what we in the careers industry would call scope, right? So whether you come from a business family background, in which case the family business BBA should be your aspiration if you want to rejoin your family business after your studies, or you want to make your mark as the next Chris Gardner, as a stockbroker, or as a financial expert, financial markets, or if you're just interested in how businesses or how decisions are made, right? No decision is ever made nowadays by just a hunch or a feeling. It's always data backed, right? And as you mentioned, Vikram, these decisions of starting these specializations have been based on our data that we have gathered from our students as to what do our students want. So effectively, these three new variations of the BBA program, they are effectively reflections of not only what our students want, but more importantly, from a career perspective, what the industry wants. And I think it's very important for us to understand that these programs, these three new variations, do prepare our students, or will prepare our students for careers that will be highly sought after, and they're already very highly sought after. Now, having said that, I just want to quickly touch upon the idea of interdisciplinarity. Now, our vice chancellor and our dean of the business school, they touched upon it already. But at Jindal, at the Jindal Global University, and now I'm speaking from the entire university perspective, interdisciplinarity is into everything that we do. So, for example, while, as you mentioned, Vikram, I am trained as a lawyer, but I regularly have high-level discussions and planning meetings with not just the business school, but with all the other 9 schools that make up the university. Interdisciplinarity is not only in how we drive the university forward, but also how we teach. I'll give you an example from my personal teaching. So I often teach a course called corporate governance. Now, this is taught as from my perspective as a lawyer. But in that course, you would also have students from the business school who are studying MBA or BBA. You'll have students from the public policy school, people who are pursuing, a master's in public policy. Because how governments react to corporate scandals is a matter of public policy. So the beauty of interdisciplinarity in JGU is that not only are students being taught by the teacher, but they're also being taught by the fellow sitting next to them. Now, you could have a BBA student sitting next to her is a law student. Sitting next to her is a student from international affairs. And they're all learning from each other because all of them come from different disciplines. And they come with that background. And now they're sharing that background. Now, problems that the world is facing. Think of any problem: poverty, malnutrition, sanitation, climate change. These global problems cannot be solved by one discipline alone. They need a multidisciplinary angle. And that is exactly what we try to prepare our students at, well, whether the business school or any other school, we try to prepare our students to approach the problem from multiple angles, multiple perspectives. So I think it's very, very advantageous to be able to have that not only that specialization, but as has been mentioned previously, the freedom to choose other courses as well, so that one comes out of these degree programs with a well-rounded education. So for the parents, the teachers, the counselors, the students who are listening in, these three variations of our BBA program, not only do they prepare you in depth into particular careers that will be relevant even, let's say, 5-10 years down the line, but they also do so in a holistic manner. With this, I'll hand the virtual mic back to you, Vikram, and we can take it forward from there. Thanks, Vikram.
Thank you, Arya. Indeed, quoting examples make our communication much easy, and I always appreciate you for that. So we are dot on time as per our schedule, and after listening to all 5 of us, I would request now to open the session for the question and answers, and our guests, our students, parents, our teachers, counselors, whoever want to have any question being asked, please unmute yourself. You can ask a question. You can switch on your camera. We have given you the access of that so that we can take it to be a more interactive way. If there are no questions, I would be made to believe that everything is all clear, crystal clear. Oh yes, we have now some guests.
Very good evening to everyone present here. I'm Anirudh from Bombay. I have a question to everyone present in the panel today. What does JGBS expect from its students, especially someone like me who is who is considering an integrated MBA in JGBS?
So, Anirudh, you would like to, I think, have this answer from the person who is leading the show, our dean itself.
Yes, why not?
Rajesh sir, the ball is in your court.
Thanks, Vikram. Hi, Anirudh. Great to see your interest in the integrated MBA program. So, question is a pretty deep one. What do we expect from the student? Well, what we are expecting, all of us here, Pawan and myself, we go into classrooms and come out energized by through the internet. So the most important thing that comes to my mind, and I invite our Pawan to chime in as well, because this is that faculty members themselves personally expect from students, and it can differ from person to person to some extent. But the first thing that I is the sine qua non, the absolute, is a strong and healthy curiosity. And this curiosity, not necessarily about business, not necessarily some narrow discipline somewhere. Doesn't matter. A curious person is curious about everything, right? And in a very strange way, a very universal way, everything merges into everything else, right? The partitions that we create are in our imagination. So I think when we teach, we come out energized when the class comes up and quizzes us, pushes us, makes us go into territories that are not planned while stepping into the lecture. And we come back and say, wow, that was cool. That was really nice. So, number one thing, if I have to put a finger on one thing, it would be curiosity.
Thank you very much for answering my question. No, I think that's it from me.
Okay.
If I could just chime in, may I just chime in to build on further on Dean's points? I think in addition, just building further on Dean's points, I wrote to your question, and perhaps, if I could also answer not only your question, but perhaps also address this for, all the other program people who are interested in other programs. I think the reason I joined JGU was at JGBS and at JGU, we are looking for multiple aspects of well-roundedness in our students. I think that the beauty of this university is we are actually in many ways trying to do our darndest to undo the damages of the rote regurgitation, rat race of just chasing high marks that, a lot of pressure in many parts of the secondary system, comes about essentially because of a lack of, high quality supply in the tertiary education space. So there's this, ridiculous pressure on students to just maximize and get very, very high marks at, 99% in English and economics and subjects like this, which, it's a complete nonsense to be, striving for such absolute marks in subjects like this. So what we are really looking for is students who are, well-rounded, parents and students who are in pursuit of a well-rounded education. So whilst we definitely look for evidence of academic, integrity and academic achievement and capability, but we don't rely necessarily on, arbitrary cutoffs of 100% scores and 99% scores and stuff like that, which in many cases actually comes at the expense of intellectual curiosity, as Dean just said. I mean, so we're interested in students who are interested in asking the right questions as opposed to only looking for the one right answer and ratifying them. And so obviously in our assessment and evaluation process, a lot of effort is placed on the interviews, on attitudes, on a healthy respect, etc. So we're looking for multiple dimensions. Having said that, I would also say that particularly for the BBA analytics and the BBA financial markets, we do encourage and we do expect a much higher requirement of quantitative skills, and which will typically, require a math, a strength in math and an interest in math. We recognize that the way in some, parts of the high school system, the way math is taught is unfortunately more a hawa and a dread. And we do have many ways to overcome that and help people appreciate the beauty and symmetry and poetry in math. And I personally would like to think of myself as a poet and a quant. But we do have ways to encourage people and improve them in that dimension. But nonetheless, for the BBA analytics and for financial markets, that would be a strong suit that would be required. But for the family business and our general BBA, we're looking for a much broader, well-rounded. So I hope that answers not only your question, Anirudh, but also for all the other variants that people are interested in.
Thank you, sir, for that insight. That's it for me.
Hi, I am Ruchi. My son is applying to OP Jindal. So my question is, the session was very informative, and we are interested in the two of the new programs for BBA. So my question is that we have already applied to BBA General now, and assuming that these three new BBA variants are available in this coming year, do we need to apply afresh, or I mean, how do you go about the admission process for these?
So can I take this question? Okay. So, ma'am, going forward, the process is very simple. During the time of interview, you would be contacted by the admission team, and the course of choice would be asked again from our side. So, if you have not opted for it earlier in the application form, need not worry. When the admission team would reach out to you before scheduling the interview, you would get an opportunity to reframe the choices and you may go ahead with it.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question also related to the integrated MBA course. We have also applied for our son. Question I have is, after the BBA is done, would we automatically move to MBA or another admission process would begin?
So, ma'am, the program, the 5-year integrated BBA MBA is designed in such a way that one has to study for 5 years. There is
Okay.
no, I would say, break after BBA. The curriculum is designed in such a way, and only after completion of 5 years of study, the student would be getting a master's degree.
Okay. So, so they will have the option of elective of math or computer science within this 5-year duration, within the 5-year program?
I would ask my team to send you the semester wise curriculum of
Okay.
these courses, which would give you a better insight of what all the students would be studying semester wise.
Okay. So the course doesn't end by, so after 3 years, I wouldn't get undergrad certificate.
No.
Only after completing 5 years, I will get, that's the entire course.
Yes. So the beauty of this integrated course, I would like to answer this particular point is, we all believe that most of the people in our society are made to believe that BBA is nothing. You have to do MBA. And I would say it is not wrong also in the past. But going forward, looking at the trend, the industry requirements, most important is what we are studying. Is it for the future? And if I want to do an integrated BBA MBA course, whereby our emphasis is we pay a lot of emphasis on the practical exposure. So after every year, there are multiple internships. You have SME internships, you have social internships, you have summer internships. On the other hand, when we went ahead and when we had a discussion about these programs like business analytics, like financial markets, they have a very different background altogether. When I say a student who is finishing up with a BBA honors in business analytics, we as a university would ideally want a child to always opt for a job. We would not like our analytics student or our financial market student to merely do this degree and then end up directly appearing for a CAT MAT exam. As counselor, as academicians, we would want that they should first be in the industry, work for at least 2 years, get the knowledge, collaborate what with you have studied over here, and then plan to do masters.
Okay. Okay, so very informative. Another question, would SAT scores be taken into for admission process?
Yes, as a university-wide policy, we have it that students who have a SAT score of above 1100 are exempted from the Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test. So
Okay,
while
above
filling the
1100,
application form,
you're talking
you
about
may,
SAT refers to, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
so I'm saying while filling the application form under the table of the entrance test, you may put in the SAT details. You have to upload your SAT scorecard and we will take a decision on the eligibility part of it.
Okay. So, okay, sir.
Any other questions? If anybody has,
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Agrim Pukreja, and
hey,
I'm
can I
sorry I won't
request
be
you
able
to
to
please
switch
switch
on
on
my
your camera?
camera. Yeah, actually, I'm out somewhere. So can I just ask
Okay,
my question?
not an
It's a
issue.
quick one. So yeah, I'm in 12th grade currently, and I'm living in Delhi NCR. So I'm already a stock market trader, and it's been 6 to 7 months since I've been trading, and I know the fundamentals and the technicals, and I have been making some predictions on the basis of those as well. So I was looking for some courses for myself, as it's times that I look for some undergraduate courses, and I came across BB and financial markets, and I was the happiest person on earth because I wanted some, because it's actually my passion and I want to follow it. So I had a word with my parents about that, and I told them about this course. So I wanted to know what are the career prospects after I finish my undergraduate, because we all know there aren't many universities who offer courses in financial markets, because I actually got tired looking for some really great courses in financial markets, but I actually failed. But could you just enlighten me about that?
Sure, Agrim. I do appreciate it, and I would request our dean to definitely take this ahead.
So first of all, Agrim, I totally understand your passion. I have myself been a faculty in finance in the both in the US and at ISB and other places. So yes, finance is a pretty, particularly trading and stock markets are an addictive stuff. Play it safely, though. And what is important is sorry, your question was that what to do after a degree, right? What are the prospects? So as you know, the financial sector is going to, in the long term, is going to grow from strength to strength. I mean, it's the as Arjo rightly pointed out, is one of the fastest growing economies. Our financial sector has a long way to go to fund growth in this country. But the one thing that I want you to also appreciate, and as you work with us, is when we talk finance, we typically think just the stock market. The financial markets are much bigger than just the stock market, right? Not only are there other markets, bonds and derivatives and all of that, there's also fascinating work, fascinating areas like venture capital, private equity, where you talk about small businesses, growing businesses that are not tradable, and how to get in there and how to value those companies, how to build strategies to get an early stage investing opportunity there is fascinating. And of course, the stock market has allured and charmed generations of people around the world, and it will continue to do so for as long as our eyes can see. So that charm is not going away. And yes, there are strategies and there are learnings that I think, more than telling you how to make money, probably tells you how to avoid losing money, and that's extremely important. So yes, we spend a lot of time and effort learning how to diversify portfolios, how to manage risk, how to assess risk, how to measure risk, how to manage risk, how to get the best returns for the risk taken. So there's a lot to learn and wonder about in the program. And at the end of the program, you are completely ready the for the financial sector, which can mean financial institutions, banks in a huge way, banks, insurance companies, financial sector, financial services, also the stock market itself. As you know, today the distinction between a bank and a broker and an insurance seller is pretty much gone. Most large players are financial supermarkets, where you go in with one need and you come out having bought something else on the side. Right? So it's an undifferentiated product model, unified markets, and yes, so the job opportunities similarly are manifold and in many parts of that spectrum. So as Vikram rightly said, our imagination is that our students do go and apply their skills for some time before coming back to school. That is what we would advise. Now, it is true that many of our students sometimes immediately jump into another degree from the bachelor's degree. That's a matter of the students and their families' choice. but we definitely aim at making our students future ready. That's part of the business school mission, future ready professionals. So that's our imagination, and we think you will find a great fit in whether it is managing a portfolio for somebody else, for a client, whether your own portfolio to be invested and made money on, whether choosing startups to invest in as part of a venture capital fund, whether as part of a private equity fund going into businesses that are otherwise not listed. The choices are all over the place, right? Lots and lots and lots.
Can I just add,
Absolutely, sir.
can I
Yeah,
just add something to this, to what Rajesh Da just said? I know you're a budding stock market player, as we would call you, but get this: there are about 1.2 million Indian companies, right? And when we are talking about the stock market, how many of them are actually listed? About 6,000. So the vast majority of companies belong in a financial market that the public has no access to. So when you're thinking about financial markets, it's not just public financial markets, but as Rajesh Dar rightly pointed out, you've got private equity, hedge funds, investment banks, venture capital investors. And these guys park their funds in startups, right? And that's where, in my experience, that's where more money is to be made, right? So hopefully that answers your question, Agri, along with being.
definitely, sir. I'm really, really happy to, get such amazing answers from the professors itself. And you'll definitely be seeing me in the university soon because I've already applied.
Great. Yes. So, do we have any other person who has any question?
Yes, sir. I
Uh,
had one question.
Please, ma'am. Who's it? Kindly introduce
I'm
yourself.
I'm Charvi from UP, and I'm currently in my 12th grade. And since I've had the biology stream since 11th standard, so I was a little nervous about stepping into this business world, and as to what I should expect from what I have to prepare, and what I should do for that in order to prepare for what I will be doing in the next few years.
So, Charvi, tell me something more about you. Which school are you from, and what are your subjects?
I am from an ICSE board school. It is a convent school, and I've had science stream with me for the past 2 years, that is 11th and 12th. And yeah, I
You
mean,
are a
the business
student or PCB student?
PCB, biology,
So, you are
PCB.
a PCB student. So, okay, let me tell you. In India, we brand the student on two things. One is what percentage you get in class 10th, and second is what subjects you plan to choose after you secure a certain percentage in 10th. That is what I have seen in my career the day I passed. That is how the perception of an Indian typical student is being made. When you look for a management education, and specifically at Jindal, I would ask my team to share the semester wise curriculum with you. We have students from PCM background, PCB background, humanities background, commerce with mathematics, commerce without mathematics. And the reason is because we believe in diversity. We don't believe that merely by taking PCM, anybody would become an engineer. Or if you are a bio student and if you have not studied economics or accounts in class 12th, it is a blunder what you have done and you are not the right person to enter into this field. We teach subjects like sociology, psychology, public policy. So if you glance through the curriculum in the first insight, you will feel, oh my God, what am I doing? I heard that BBA is accountancy, financial accounting, management accounting. But am I being, what is the logic of studying psychology? But if you go a little deeper into it, and if you look from the management angle, psychology is nothing but understanding your consumer, your customer. And that is why it is called as a word global. Global doesn't mean going abroad. Global is curriculum. So rest assured, anybody who says anything to you, just stick, be informative, and you will not be at a loss. For students who come from diversified background, our Dean of Business School, he has arranged special classes. There are tutorials, which is an integral part of our teaching system, that you don't have to make that gap into your mind. That's it. Anything, if anybody as an academician, my team members want to
Yeah,
say?
if I could just chime in further, Chavi, as a former engineer who went into the world of business, uh, if you mastered physics, don't worry, relax. Everything else that the world of business will throw at you will be very, very simple.
Arya, would you like to say something?
Yes. Could I just come in and quell uh, what would what would possibly be very frayed nerves and a lot of anxiety, Charvi? I come from an ICSE school. I had physics, chemistry, and mathematics. I started studying law, which is in social sciences. I'm not an engineer like Professor Pawan. So I was you about 20 years ago, right? So when I got into law school, I was taught the same subjects that Vikram just talked about: sociology, political science, economics. While I had a PCM background, I wouldn't even be able to spell sociology in class 12, right? But what I realized was that having a background in science allowed me to approach these subjects with that scientific methodology. That I am observing something, like an experiment. Let's say you are observing, some experiment on optics in physics, right? And then you are applying your theoretical understanding of how light waves work, and you're trying to figure out why is this light beam or light ray behaving in the way that it does. That's the scientific method of inquiry. Can you apply that to sociology? Yes, you can. Can you apply that to economics? Absolutely. That's the whole point of having an intellectual curiosity and developing critical thinking skills. So you will not be at a disadvantage. The only thing that I can see that, well, from my experience, is that, well, when coming in from, let's say, a humanities background, right? My classmates were able to understand or able to pick up on political thought or economic thought far faster than I could, because it was absolutely new to me. But that was really for the first 1 month. And as Vikram pointed out, there will be bridge courses available to you. So, as a former science student from an ICSE school who's probably studied the same textbooks that you have, don't worry. All right? It's going to be fine. Okay? Back to you, Vikram.
Thank you, sir. I feel a lot more confident about it now.
Awesome.
So, do we have any other questions?
Sir, I have one last question. Do I have to switch my camera on? I don't think. One
It's
second.
fine. You can ask the question.
So, sir, I'm incredibly interested. I'm also from science only. In 12th standard, I'm doing science. And I'm incredibly interested. I've decided I'm not doing engineering. So I'm really interested in this integrated course. Mainly for the reason that not only does it have such an all-round education, it is, if correct me if I'm wrong, please, but it is the only commerce course which actually has more than 3 years of study. And if I am to pursue a master's degree in the United States, for example, then I would need a 4-year degree, is my understanding of it. So this particular degree would allow for pursuing another master's abroad. Is there any other such degree which I don't know about, which allows for the same? Was my question clear? Should I?
So, are you inquiring about the integrated program, or
Just in general, I'm asking if there's any such thing, because I wasn't able to find any conclusive answers on the internet. And I just don't know a lot about it, since I was originally, for the last 2 years, I've been studying science. And then I realize now that I would like to pursue this field.
Vikram, my understanding is that Bhuvan is under the assumption that the BBA honors variants that we're talking about are 4-year undergrad degrees. So if you could just
Yes, Bhuvan. So going ahead with the question, if you talk about the program, if you talk about the Indian context, in the Indian context, the bachelor's program which we are offering is a 3-year bachelor's program like BBA honors in marketing or finance or HR or maybe business analytics or family business. But going
Yes.
forward, if you plan to go for a study abroad pathway kind of a program, okay,
Mhm.
with different set of universities, there are different set of collaborations. So Professor Pawan has been working on with Deakin University, and
Okay.
the plan is as such: the student who would be pursuing a business analytics course at Jindal, after 2 years of his study, he would get an opportunity for a study abroad pathway, where he would study for
Okay.
2 years at JGBS. And if he is selected, there is a selection process which everybody has to go through. And if you are able to make it, you would study your third and your fourth year at Deakin University in Australia.
Okay.
Likewise, like we do have students going in for Nottingham Trent University, where they do 2 years of BBA at Jindal, 1 year over there.
Okay.
And on the other hand, if the 5-year integrated BBA MBA program which we offer, it has an option that you do your 4 years of study at JGBS, and your
Yes.
fifth year of study you can do abroad, and you would get an MS from that foreign university. And Jindal University, once you submit your documents of study, would award you with a 5-year integrated BBA MBA degree.
Okay. Okay.
Bhavan, does that
That.
clarify your question? So just to reiterate, the all of the BBA programs that we're talking about still give you a 3-year BBA
Mhm.
degree. But for those
Mhm.
of the people like you who are interested in a 4-year undergrad, we have a bunch of articulation options, not only in Australia, but
Okay.
also similarly in the US. So you can do 3 years at JGBS and go to Pace University in New York, spend one
Mhm.
year, and you get your,
4 year.
4-year degree. So there's many
Okay.
of those options available. Does that clarify your question,
Yeah,
Bhavan?
that was exactly my question. Thank you so much, sir.
So, do we have any more questions? So, not an issue if you don't have any questions. We believe the main purpose of holding this first webinar for JGBS for 2021 has started on a very positive note. We interacted with some of the students who were actually interested, right from Agrim to Charvi to you as well, Bhuvan, to make JGBS as part of your journey. As the director of admissions, I have only one request from all of you, that you are our future brand ambassadors. We are here to give you the right education, but at the same time, have curiosity, what Dr. Rajesh mentioned, because that curiosity will lead you to ask questions, to be informative. And if you are informative, if you are convinced, then you can convince anybody on earth. Otherwise, tomorrow someone will tell you, why have you gone here? Why not there? So we don't want that you should come back to us. You should be informed and you can say, look, I have opted for this financial markets program because it teaches me this, this, this. This is making me job ready. That confidence from your actions will only come with right information. We all are there to support you in any ways. Do write to us. Be a part of our official Facebook page of Jindal Global Business School. It will help you to understand where the students, your seniors, are doing their internships, their study abroad pathways. And once you have the complete clarity, you would be happy. So what you asked us in the beginning to Dr. Rajesh, sir, what do you expect from your student? So as a director of admission, I expect you should be happy what you are doing. Because if you are happy, then the best of result will come in and we don't have to regret for anything. Marks are secondary. We know very well that you need us and we are there for you. Just have trust on us and ignite your fire at a right time. Okay, so I would like to now conclude with a thanks to Professor Rajesh, Professor Pawan, my dear colleague Arya, and all our students and their parents, my IT support team who helped us a lot to have this session going on. And we will keep on interacting with you as the time would come. We are all just one email or a call away. Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any queries. With that, I would say all the best. Have a great evening, and thanks to all my fellow colleagues for joining. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.